Welcome back to the channel. My name is Lisa Elvin Stoltari, and I'm a genealogist and a passionate traveler. Over the last several years, I've been featuring each fille du roi, or king's daughters, and les filles mariées, the marriageable girls, and getting to know their stories a little bit better. This has helped us get to know Quebec and new friends and all that they did in order to give what we have today. So it's been a wonderful journey and continues because there are a lot of them. But before we begin, let me show you ways that you can help the channel grow. The first three keep you in the know. Subscribe. You just subscribe. It's free and it helps the logarithms. I just recently achieved 2,000, so that was a big, big moment as well. So thank you to everyone. Like the video. That helps with all those algorithms and all that. And notify. That helps you keep in the know and make sure you don't miss an episode. The next few ways are ways to help the channel itself grow. And it just kicks it up a notch. And so you have the memberships that are available on YouTube. They start at 99 cents for my channel and go up to $24.99. Each one of those levels has several perks to it that you can partake of. So have a look at that and see if that's something that would interest you. And also there is a YouTube super thanks that you can do as well. And on my website, Have Roots Will Travel, I have a PayPal button that a lot of people use as well to donate to the cause. So thank you so much to all of you, and let's get on with the show. Today's episode of Les Filles du Roi is episode 297. Marguerite Maréchal, dite Dubois, and she comes to us from a viewer request. I did not have her in my file, so let's get to know Marguerite a little bit better. Marguerite was born in 1637 in Toulon, in France. Her parents were Pierre Maréchal and Jeanne Dubois, and she is born in the Nouvelle-Aquitaine region of France. And her département is, as you can see in the bottom left, Haute-Vienne, and she's very close to being her village is part of the Limoges region as well, very, very close to it. Toulon is a very small, it has about 560 people living there today. It's about 20 kilometers from Limoges, which is, a stone's throw really. It is extremely historic. It's home to the Château de Toulon, a castle dating back to the 11th century, with its current structure largely rebuilt in the 18th. Another major landmark is the Église Saint-Pierre et Lien, and it was restored in 1498 and 1888. So you can imagine how, if it's being restored in the 14th century, you can imagine how long it has been around. Absolutely, this is a picture perfect. And the bottom is that castle. Obviously, it has been major renovated. And I would love to see it. It looks incredible. Now, after her father's death, she came to New France with a dowry of about £100. She came aboard the Jean Baptiste and she arrived June 30th, 1669. What makes her a little bit different is that she was 33 years old by this time. In New France era, that's pretty much middle-aged. The groom that she selected and who selected her, his name was Sébastien Doison de la Rose et Lacroix. He was born in 1629 in Nantes, France. His parents were Aubin Doison and Jeanne Chartier. You can see that he is part of the Pays de la Loire region, and he is inside of that. The region is Loire-Atlantique département. Nantes is a city with a very rich history and an extraordinarily vibrant culture. And it was originally settled by the Gallic tribes. It became a Roman port before flourishing as the capital of the Duchy of Brittany in the medieval period. During the Renaissance, Nantes would thrive as a maritime hub, and it benefited from all of the Atlantic trade. However, it's got a darker past and includes involvement in the transatlantic slave trade. The city played an important role in the French Revolution and later shifted toward industrialization in the 19th century. Now, today, Nantes is known for the architectural landmarks such as the Gothic Cathedral of St. Peter and St. Paul, and cultural sites like the Château des Ducs de Bretagne. The city also embraces modern art and innovation. And it is really a very large city because it's got about 320,000 people as of the 2020 census. And what is important to understand is that Nantes became so important during the Protestant revolutions. The Edict of Nantes, which legalized Protestantism in France, was signed here in 1598, and that began a whole new chapter. And it continued to expand its import business. Now, it also is very famous for its vineyard that produces muscadet white wine, so those of you who like that. Saint-Jacques in Nantes, known as l'Église Saint-Jacques de Permille, it's the oldest church in Nantes, and it dates back to the late 12th century, so you can have a look at that church, just amazing. So Sebastien would come to New France, and he is actually listed on the 1666 census, and he is a master tailor. And so this is his actual profession. Marguerite would waste no time, and by November 2nd, 1669, she would be married on the island of Orléans. Ile d'Orléans is located on the St. Lawrence River, about 3 miles east of downtown Quebec City. The island was one of the very first parts of the province to be colonized by the French, and a large percentage of French Canadians trace their ancestry to the early residents of this island. The island has actually been described as a microcosm of traditional Quebec and as the birthplace of Francophones in North America. It wasn't always called Ile d'Orléans. It was known in some parts as Grande Ile, Sainte Marie, and Saint Laurent. And by the 17th and 18th century, it was changed in honor of the second son of King Francis I, who happened to be the Duke of Orléans. The early French settlers were attracted to the island because of its very fertile soil. And in 1661, the first parish of Saint Famille was founded, followed by another 4 parishes. And by 1685, there were about 1,200 people that lived here. It's very important for you to note when you go that there are 6 different townships, if you will, 6 different parishes. So there's Saint-Pierre, Saint-Famille, the oldest, Saint-François, Saint-Jean, Saint-Laurent, Saint-Pétronille. And actually, just to show you how easy it is to just be overwhelmed, when I was there for the very first time, I was so entranced with Saint-Famille and Saint-Pierre. I spent a great number of time, and I was just in there. And then we traveled Saint-François, and I completely missed Saint-Jean. So, note to self, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much you know. When you're in that mode, it overtakes you. This was a tremendously, 2 of these pictures are of my own that I took. It was life-changing because I really felt my French roots when I went here. So I would urge anyone who hasn't been to go there and just kind of stand in the ground where your ancestors were. So Marguerite would be they would have 2 children, Marguerite and Catherine, but Catherine would pass away at 8 years of age or before the census. Marguerite would actually marry Claude Panitot and would have 11 children, 5 of whom would leave descendants. Now this was really fascinating as I explored this. They are listed separately. Remember that divorce was not an option, and so she somehow found work at Quebec City. And so in 1681, Sebastien is on the island. He's 60 years old, and he's got 8 arpents valaires, and then, which is about 6 acres of land. And then on that same census in Quebec City, Marguerite is listed with her daughter, Marguerite. And it says that she is the widow of Jean Loiseau. She's not. She was just a single woman. And remember, she came, later on in her life and had the fortitude and the wherewithal to obviously stand her ground. Sebastien would die at age 56 in 1685, a mere 4 years after that census. Marguerite would pass away at age 65 with grandchildren and her namesake daughter and son-in-law that she lived with. She created a legacy, and although by 1729 there were only 41 descendants, she proved to us that even at 33, a woman at that time could still create a rich and resplendent life. I just think she's very inspirational. So she passed away in 1698, and as I've stated, she left us 31 descendants. I'm in awe of Marguerite. I think she was amazing to come to New France at an older age and then get married, and obviously something went wrong, and establish her own life and be able to create her own happiness is a model we can all appreciate. So thank you, Marguerite, for your incredible bravery, your courage, and almost your modern take on what womanhood is all about, because she did not obviously suffer in silence. So I'm very, very grateful to have told this story. And those of you, the few, I'm not sure who is a descendant, but please let us know, because you have a lot to be proud of. And I also want to say thank you to my patrons and supporters. Thank you for always being there for me. I really appreciate each and every one of you. And with that being said, I will see you on episode, I think it's 298. Until then, au revoir.